Great show about smartphones. The Gadget Show will be on tomorrow at the same time, and you can catch up online on Demand 5. On next is the brand new documentary on the evolution of video games. Throughout the years, technology has improved dramatically from simple devices to more complex devices that now do more than its function. Computers have now become an important part of society, but does the use of them lead to decrease in social skills? The increase of social networking sites means that people can now socialize online. But what effect is this having on society? The language of pupils in full-time education can also be affected by the use of social networking sites.
Therefore, because people are typing the way they would speak, they're associating writing with more informal ways of communication. So therefore, as a teacher, I can see it in my books.
Nowadays, games that are advertised involve physical interaction. But what physical damage is this having on our bodies? Games like Kinect and Wii are marketed as exercise, but is it healthier to ride a bike outside or on the Wii? The mobile phone, which was once used to make phone calls, can now do more things like take pictures, access the internet, send and receive messages. With the development of smartphones and all these apps, this raises the question, how many people actually use their phones to make phone calls alone?
Edit pictures, to ping people, ring people and text people.
I use my phone for Facebook.
I use my phone for obviously texting, calling people.
I don't really call people.
Mostly to play games.
Tumblr, instant messaging, text.
Today, we'll be exploring how the representation of gender has changed, the improvement of technology in video games, and the violent images that are now shown. The representation of women in video games has largely changed over the years, from the damsel in distress to hypersexualized females. Some have even become the heroines and main characters. In modern video games, there's been a movement from pixelated images in games such as Tetris to computer-generated images in games such as Final Fantasy. This immerses the player in the game because the images reflect objects in our everyday lives. The improvement of technology has also meant the graphics in video games has changed. For example, in Sonic would have to jump on the villain in order to get rid of them. But in modern video games like Assassin's Creed, bloody scenes are shown. This evolution of technology means that gamers can now play worldwide. For example, someone in Europe can play with someone in the US. The violent graphics in video games show that violence in video games has increased. In games such as GTA and Assassin's Creed, players can inflict violence on characters without the game showing the consequences of their action. In modern video games, women have been highly sexualized. It is estimated that around 28% of women are represented as sex objects in video games. In previous video games like Mario, the main female character is presented as a damsel in distress with blonde hair wearing a pink dress, which is the typical stereotype of a female. Nowadays, in modern video games such as GTA, women are presented as prostitutes with large breasts and large hips wearing revealing clothes. Does that mean women's role in the media is to be a sex object? In order to see what effect these representations have on society, we asked members of the public what they thought of this image advertising Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
I think it's not appropriate for kids.
It will appeal to men, but if you want a women's audience, maybe not.
I think it looks a bit tacky, to be honest.
We visited the Commodore Jesus and Mary Language College and asked an expert sociologist about what she thought about the representation of gender in video games.
In previous games, stereotypes teaches that women are the weaker sex. They need to be rescued by the men, making women feel subordinate to the men. In modern video games, the women are dressed more provocatively, causing an effect on the children, making girls question their own bodies or clothing, whilst in boys, this will cause them to believe that women should dress provocatively.
Join us after the break where we'll be discussing the independence of women in video games.